How's it going, everyone? So the Packers have another top 30 visit, and in this one, we're going to be looking at Maryland defensive back JaQuan Sheppard. So on the consensus draft board currently, JaQuan Sheppard is the 55th best cornerback in this year's draft and is currently ranked 385th overall out of all the players. He didn't get invited to the NFL Combine, so we don't really have a RAS score or any of those stats, but he did have a pro day. So coming into his pro day, he comes in at 6 foot 1 inches and weighs 199 pounds. He ran a 40-yard dash of 4.67, so pretty slow, but the caveat to this slow 40-yard time is that he did tweak his hamstring. So he's kind of projected to approximately run a 4.48 to a 4.54 if he didn't tweak that hamstring. So a little bit faster and a lot better than that 4.67. He had a broad jump of 10 feet and had a 20-yard shuttle time of 4.4. So we have some measurables, but not a lot to induce a RAS score for him. And now for his collegiate career, he did play in college for 5 years. 4 years at the University of Cincinnati, then transferred out and ended up playing for Maryland. So for his years over in college in Cincinnati, in 2019, he was actually a safety. He came into the collegiate ranks pretty much playing safety. So he only played 4 games, had 4 solo tackles and 1 assist, so 5 total tackles, and that's about it. 2020 still didn't really play many games, only played 2 games at safety, and once again had 5 total tackles and 1 tackle for loss. In 2021, only played 3 games at the safety position, had 5 total tackles again. Now in 2022, he no longer played safety and he got kicked out to play as a boundary cornerback, especially since the University of Cincinnati lost their top 2 corners in Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant. So in 2022, he started all 12 games and he had 50 total tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and 1 sack and 10 pass breakups. And he had a pretty good season for them. They pretty much played a cover 3 shell and had a relatively decent season for them. Then in 2023, he transferred over to Maryland and played 13 games for them, pretty much because he did play in a bowl game. So he had 31 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 8 pass breakups. So he had a really good season for Maryland. Over on PFF's side, as we can see, in his 2022 season for Cincinnati, he didn't really grade very well according to PFF. He only had a 55.8 defensive grade, a 46 rush defensive grade, 46.9 tackling grade, 61.8 pass rush grade, which is minuscule really, and a 57.5 coverage grade. But when he went over to play in Maryland, he definitely played a lot better and started kind of getting some spotlight. So he had an 81 defensive grade, a 69.1 rush defensive grade, 51.3 tackling grade. He has been a bad tackler in his time in college. An 82.9 pass rush grade and an 80.5 coverage grade. He was targeted in his final year 61 times and only allowed 24 receptions, which was good for a 39.3 reception rate. Now, in his final year at Cincinnati, he was targeted 64 times and allowed 36 receptions, so had a reception percentage allowed of 56.3. Now, that could have been he was transitioning from playing safety to corner at Cincinnati and then getting another year under his belt when he transferred over to Maryland, started to understand the position a lot more and actually got better. So there could be a correlation to that. And also to note, he was also the second highest PFF graded player, defensive player, among the Power 5 defenders in this bowl season. So he ended up with a 93.2 defensive grade in the bowl game, only pretty much behind James Pierce Jr., who had a 95.4 for Tennessee. So he had a very, very good bowl game for the Maryland Terrapins. So what are some of the pros for JaQuan Sheppard? So he has good speed to hold up on the perimeter. His acceleration is seamless and very quick. He shows some hip flexibility to change direction well and moves well inside of his zone. But for some of the cons for him, he lacks some upper body strength to be more effective in press. He shows no desire to tackle, which, with that tackling rate on PFF, he was graded very low and he missed a lot of tackles in college. And he needs a good first step to stay in position in man coverage, as he does not recover well. So as of right now, he is a day 3 pick. He's projected to go into either the 6th round, 7th round, or in a very slim case, maybe an undrafted free agent. but he is definitely a late day 3 pick. And the Packers could be a little bit interested because he did kind of come onto the scene in his final year with Maryland, especially after playing safety for his first 3 years. And maybe Jeff Hafley saw something that he liked on tape and might have mentioned it. And he could end up being, if the Packers do decide to pick him up, as a developmental boundary corner. Now, I will say he seemed to succeed a lot as a coverage zone corner and didn't really do well as a man coverage corner. So it's a little interesting to see how much they liked on the tape, and if Jeff Hafley, considering he does have a strength in coaching defensive backs, if he feels like he saw something where he might have to like tweak and development him, and he has the tools to actually play both as a zone coverage corner and a man coverage corner. But despite being a late day 3 pick, he is definitely drawing a lot of interest from NFL teams, and especially during his pro day, he had every team in attendance for his pro day. So it's going to be interesting where he actually lands and if the Packers do go for him. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.